We'll get started here. Get started real quick. Just want to say good morning to everybody and welcome to the start of the 2022 season, the end of the 2021 talking season, and the start of getting this thing right and moving forward. Really excited about starting new this first training camp. Tomorrow's practice should be a blast. That it's so many new faces and so many new names, and now we get an opportunity to get going with them again for training camp and start this process the right way. Start the process of building and getting better at our fundamentals, getting better at technique, getting better at scheme, execution, and going out there and really not worrying about the past. Not talking about where they were recruited or how they were recruited, not talking about where they played in last year's team, who transferred in, who is a freshman. Now it's just about the team of 22, and that's what I told them yesterday in our first meeting. It is all about the team of 22 moving forward, and we're going to spend all of our time this summer and this next 3 or 4 weeks not worrying about other teams, recruiting for 2023, not worrying about where they came from in 2021, just really focusing on the now. And that's what we can control. That's where we believe we can improve. And if we just every day get better, we'll have a chance to be a much better team today, in September than we are today. Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great, first of all, I was so appreciative of Doug Allred and his family for their donation to make it happen. They paid for the entire locker room, and we were able to get the locker room done in, it's called 120 days, 90 days, from start to finish, from money to almost to them moving into it yesterday. Their reaction was awesome. They knew the locker room has been closed. I kind of tried to trick them and tell them that it was because the field crew was using it, putting down the new field. But when they did walk in there, I don't think they were expecting anything that looked like that. It was state of the art, and they did a great job. Yeah, I think what I said was Jaden is going to get the reps with the ones, and he's going to get the reps with the ones. Now that doesn't mean that as camp goes on, different guys don't jump in with the ones somewhere along the lines. But I have all expectations for Jaden to be our starting quarterback, and if that is the case, then he's going to be the person that takes the reps with the ones. I don't think that's really unique to any situation. There's going to be times in practice that we might throw Noah or Jordan in with a group, but their group will be going in with the 2s or the 3s, and then they'll rotate and they'll get some reps every now and then with the 1s. But I think it's really important that Jaden spends his time getting acclimated with getting snaps from the starting center, that he gets acclimated with throwing to the same group of receivers that we're going to have to in season. And we'll be able to rotate through, and we do a lot of different teamwork that a lot of different guys get reps, so it's not going to be a big deal. But it's exactly what happened in the spring as well. Yeah, it's a completely different situation than we were a year ago. As we all remember, a year ago, we had Gunnar and Will, and then we brought in Jordan in the summer. So we never even had a spring ball with Jordan. So we needed all three of them to just constantly rotate who's going where, who's going when. We've had all the quarterbacks here all spring and all summer. So we've had the quarterbacks have all been here. That group of 5 has been here since January. So we're in a much different place in terms of where we are with our guys. Now it's a matter of the process of learning the offense, executing the offense, the process of getting better each day as our quarterback. But I believe Jaden has earned the right to be the quarterback at this point and to start camp off as the quarterback. He's had a great success in our conference, and he's very young. So I'm excited to watch him grow. Well, we certainly have opportunities to be good in the wide receiver room. We're young in a lot of areas, in the receiver room specifically. We have Jacob Cowling, who we know is not young, is a fourth-year player and has extreme talent. And there's no surprises there. There's no hiding that. So I'm really excited about what Jacob can do for us. Our goal is to make Jacob a really good wide receiver here at Arizona, not just a really good wide receiver at UTEP. The other guys are all freshmen, with Dorian Singer being a sophomore. So you have Singer and Simpson, who were both true freshmen last year, and then you have T-Mac and AJ and Kevin Green and others that are all here now that are all freshmen. So we have to do a great job of taking their athleticism and helping them build into becoming really good players, because we're going to rely upon that youth to start for us opening day, and that's going to be a great challenge. Yeah, it's critical that we're all in alignment as a program, and I think that gives you your best chance to turn a program. I think anyone that's heard Dave or Dr. Robbins speak about our program, we all knew we were taking on a project to rebuild and to rebrand. And we're just at the very beginning stages of getting our program to where we want it to be. And the fact that we're all together with that is really helpful. It allows us to do some things that enable us to play with the big boys in regards to facilities or recruiting. And it also and staffing, which is all critical, and all of that comes from the help of the administration. Yeah, what I would say in our situation is, a lot of times we refer to as year zero, that we got here and we really weren't in a situation to build the program because we weren't bringing in anybody into the program. So the build is starting now that there's an influx of players and facilities and changes. And that's why I referred to it as that. I don't know if that was the right way to refer to it as, but that's how I envisioned it, that when you're building something, you're bringing in parts and you're bringing in different construction areas. And that's kind of what it came down to for once our season ended November 26th, that's when all the new parts started showing up. Yeah, the job that our head strength coach, Tyler Owens, and our strength staff has done in regards to weight gain with our nutritionists working side by side, in regards to getting their bodies right physically with our training staff, and then with the amount of speed work and strength work that our kids have gone through in the last 7-week program, they just look bigger and stronger. They've gained somewhere, a guy like T-Mac has gained 18 pounds since he's been here. Jaden DeLora has gained 24 pounds. So there's been significant gains as well as significant drops of weight. Big Jonah, for example, has probably dropped about 10 pounds or so, 15 pounds, turned it into muscle. So the job that our strength staff has done in really building them up and getting them ready to go. Now we have to go play football. These guys the last time they stepped foot on a field was on a high school field, a lot of these kids. So this is a process of trying to understand what we're asking them to do. They need to trust this process. And if they do that, I think they'll continue to develop and grow. Sure. Jaden is a quarterback first and foremost. So the natural parts and the natural gifts that he has of being able to see and throw and make plays off schedule and be in the pocket all come very natural to him. What somebody that comes from a different scheme has to pick up when it comes to coming to our scheme is it's a little bit more based on timing and it's a little bit more programmed. So he's had to get to that comfort level of taking a snap, getting his feet right, living off of a 3-step drop, a 5-step drop, a 7-step drop, 1 hitch timing, 2 hitch timing. And we've been working really hard at that. He's been working really hard at that this summer on his own and with the other quarterbacks, Jordan McLeod and Noah Fafita, and then Will. Will has taken on an incredible coaching role as he's coming off of his injury of teaching these quarterbacks the offense, the ins and outs, and working with them on how to play from under center. So, we're not going to live under center by any means. So our goal is to, figure out what it's going to take to move the football, and we're going to run that offense. You'll see a lot of changes out here in camp. And I'm really excited to see what our staff has put together. I think they've done a great job of coming up with a great plan on how we're going to move the ball. Yeah, well, I don't want it to be interpreted that we want to go jump in the NFL anytime soon. What I've been referring to with our players is this, that it's our goal, and we've talked about becoming a pro in everything you do. It's not about being an NFL player. It's about living the life of a professional. And how do you live the life of a professional? Well, you take care of your body, you invest in your nutrition, you invest in your sleep. You learn how to study film in a certain way that when you show up to the combine, if you get invited to the combine, you're able to have a conversation with coaches in a certain way. You're running a pro-style system. The verbiage is very comparable to the Rams, to the 49ers, to the Dolphins, to the Bengals, to the Jets. So they know that they're running an offense that almost looks identical. Defensively, they're running a scheme that has come from the Seattle lineage. So when I talk to our guys about that, what I want them to understand and see is we're going to give you all these opportunities to recognize that we're going to teach you like you're a pro, and we're going to treat you in that manner. And now it's our job to become a great college football team. And to be a great college football team, it's now time to start that process tomorrow when we get on the field for the very first time of coming together, working with one another, maturing and growing, and knowing that from 18 to 22, you've got to take a huge jump if you ever want a chance to be a professional. Yeah, we make a huge emphasis with our players that if you only do what's asked of you, we're not going to be successful. What you need to do is you need to see how much more you can do on your own time. We go through a lot of exercises where we talk about what does a week look like. It's a 160-hour week, right? You take 15 credits, so that's 15 hours. You get your tutoring. Let's say that's another 15 hours. We can only practice 20 hours. So what are you doing with all those other hours? You sleep 8 hours a day. There's 56 hours. What are you doing with the rest? You got about 85 hours. How much film are you willing to watch in those 85 hours to help you achieve greatness? And if you come to college hoping to be a pro one day, this will give you an opportunity to get there sooner by really doing all the things off the field.
What goes into Tyler Owens' summer program? I saw that a handful of guys did like a Be a Pro strength program. Looks like it doesn't.
Yeah, so what we have is we have a Be a Pro program, which for us, as I've talked to you guys about, when we say Be a Pro, it's purposeful, resilient, and original in everything we do. And what we want to get done is we want to train in a manner that, are you on time for every workout? Have you made every meal? Have you hit your gold standard in regards to, using a combine numbers of an NFL average of what a receiver runs, what a receiver lifts, what a receiver does, what a running back does, etc., and how that works. Have you hit that standard? Have you hit all the football character traits of never, let's call it hitting your way in every Monday, or making sure that have your shirt tucked in for every workout? And as they go through this process, as we always talk about with our team, becoming a pro is a game of attrition. Guys usually fall off. And then the group that stays and is able to hit every number and hit every part ends up being that group that can do it. For us, we had guys that, I think we had 44 guys that hit the standard, and then we had the top 10 that hit the standard both on the football character side, as well as the numbers, let's call it, that would allow you to hit those standards. Yeah, well, I think it starts with our left tackle. Jordan Morgan is a very, very special player that has a lot of potential to continue on in his career. Our goal at tackle with Jordan is to make him better and figure out a way to make him better. The rest of our offensive line, it's a great process to be able to get those guys to develop and grow and fundamentally improve. When you look at a guy like Josh Baker coming in at center, he's built his way through the training room, right? And the process of coming back from surgery to now being ready to go. When you look at Jonas Evanea, right, coming in as a freshman and the process of learning how to play football as a freshman all the way through. We have that group, Peyton Fears, returning, who took every rep, I believe, last season. I think he was our only player that didn't miss a rep at right tackle. So, we've got that. And then Josh Donovan is a 6-year player. So I feel very good that our guys, that core group, but I also recognize that you can't really rely on just 5 at the offensive line. So we're really going through the process currently of figuring out who are our players that can add depth to our program and get ourselves to where we want to be.
Will Baker be full go tomorrow, and what's the status of
Jacob Reese is full go. He is fully cleared. He participated in every activity this summer. Josh is, I believe, somewhere in I think he'll be able to participate in about half of practice. We're having a little bit of a snap count on him. We're going to pitch count, so to speak, and figure out exactly as we're progressing him back in, as we're progressing Jamari back in, as we're progressing Keon back in. They're all cleared to participate. Now it'll be a snap count on how much we have them.
Players got to get better every year. Last year was your first year as a head coach. You've been a coach for a long time. What do you have to get better?
Well, we've talked a lot as a staff that it's going to start with all of us improving. Everybody in our building, starting with me, working our way into our assistant coaches. My goal is to get better at everything. Number one, never stand still, never not improve. Constantly, I spent this whole off season studying what I would say some of the greats in our profession on how they do things, but also really intrinsically looking back at myself and looking in the mirror and saying, did I do as good of a job as I could as a play caller? Did I do as good of a job as I could as a game manager? Did I do as good of a job as I could as a motivator? Did we get our team in the right place at the right time? All of those, questions have been answered for me as I look through it and what we're going to do better. My main focus is going to be on the current state of our program. I'm not going to spend much time looking back. I'm not going to spend much time looking forward. I think that's where I'll improve the most. That if every day we focus in on where we are as a team and where we are as a group as a staff, we'll be in a pretty good place. But that is a long process to get to that point. And I recognize that as we're building this program, the key for me is, can I be better tomorrow than I was today? Yeah, we'll be running a lot of 2-field practices. So you'll see 2 the same drill going on in 2 different places. That'll be the first thing we'll do. We'll try to figure out a way to get not just 22 players taking a rep at practice, but 44. So you'll have the ones on one side of the field, the twos on another side of the field, split our coaching staff in half, and be able to develop our guys. The best way to get good at football is playing football. So the least amount of guys standing and the most amount of guys participating will be our goal.
Is there a position battle? I know you're but is there a position battle that you're
Yeah, I'm really interested to see where our linebackers shake out. Right now, our linebacking crew is young and has really kind of, we have Jerry coming off of an injury. We had Malik, who missed a lot of the spring. We have Ammon, who's on his way up, but just a sophomore. We have Colby, who's just a sophomore. We have Jacob Manu, who wasn't here in the spring. There's a lot of moving parts with that inside linebacker group. Really looking forward to seeing where that one shakes out. I would say our running back room is going to be a really you only get to play one. It's one of those unique positions where you could have a pretty good room, but you don't really know because only one guy can tote the rock. So we're going to have to figure out that process of determining who's going to be our running back next year, how many will we play, and from there we'll figure out what that's going to look like. But DJ's on campus now, as well as Michael's healthy. Speedy Luke's on campus, wasn't here in the spring. Jonah is back from being here in the spring as a true freshman. And then I'm hopeful that both Stevie Rocker and Drake and Jalen John, who all had injuries at different times in the spring, they're all 100% healthy currently. So it'll be interesting to see how they go as well. Yep. So Tyler right now is as part of the linebacker crew, and that was and then not on purpose, but by any means. He's been playing both. He's been doing some stuff with the cat position, which is a defensive end position, but we're going to start him right now at inside linebacker as well. He's done fantastic in the weight room. So all I can look at and evaluate is where he's hit his numbers. And he's really done a tremendous job of hitting strides and winning some reps, and looking forward to watching him compete as well.
I think it's exciting for the fan base to have a player that's with this type of skill level. You can already see in the spring games making it back with pass interference and penalties.
Yep.
Just what
Well, my goal is to start him day one as our outside wide receiver because of his ability, truthfully, to catch the football. His hands are pretty special. And what we're going to work through, and Coach Cummings has spent a lot of time talking to him about, is his development as a route runner, his development in the weight room, continuing to get stronger as a wide receiver. You'll see a lot of time that Coach Owens and his staff have spent with him. Talk about his speed with Coach Shaw and how we're continuing to develop that. So there's a lot of different things that we're working on to get T-Mac better, but we're excited about a player of his caliber being an Arizona Wildcat. Okay, guys, I appreciate it very much. All of our assistant coaches are here next, and you'll be able to grab all of them. And looking forward to seeing all of you out at practice. If you make it to all 10 practices, we'll have a special gift for you.